welcome. Joining me today is Isaac Mars, and he will be speaking at the event Contact 2022 this October 14th through 16th in Sedona, Arizona. So please welcome Isaac. And I like your background, Isaac. Tell us, what is that very powerful image?
So behind me is my logo for the Crimson Eagle. It is the moniker I go by ever since my spiritual awakening. There's a lot of symbolism tied to the symbol. My friend made it, and interestingly enough, he was able to make it so that there are exactly 144 triangles making
Wow.
up the eagle itself. And what it means to be the Crimson Eagle, in my experience, is to be someone that bridges science and spirituality together, bridging the ethereal and the earthly, and coming together in the middle with that. So I realized during my spiritual awakening, after I started to write this science fiction novel that I imagined would be the next big Star Wars or Game of Thrones, I realized I wanted to explain to my readers a fictionally digestible way of viewing time. So I started to research Albert Einstein's theory of relativity, and I learned more about what they call simultaneity, the idea that all time happens at once.
I never heard
And when I started,
that. I never heard that word before.
yeah,
Einstein used
yeah.
that
So
word. I never heard that.
that word is typically not used too much
I like it.
in the realm of science, and I would say the reason that is because once people start to really ponder on simultaneity, or what I call chrono concurrency, chrono meaning time, concurrency meaning multiple events happening at once.
Yep.
Once we start to really ponder on that, we start to see through the illusion of reality a bit too much, and I think that's why most mainstream scientists have kind of taken a hands-off approach to that topic. They just don't even want to talk about it because it opens some weird rabbit holes for them in their belief systems.
I,
But
I
once I
would
read,
argue, I would argue it has more to do with their reputation. So if they
right,
put years and years in their education and their career, it can be derailed pretty quick. And so they may research it on the side, and not really talk about it.
points.
But it's
And I don't know if you remember our first conversation that we had before we even met in person. We had a phone call, and you talked to me about the Bhagavad Gita and the ancient knowledge, and I resonate still now with what you said to me back then. Is what I'm really doing is I'm bringing forth this ancient knowledge that really we all know deep down, but I'm articulating it in a way that's much more simple and easy to comprehend, and in so doing I am reminding anyone that comes across this knowledge in my book Unity Theory. I'm reminding them that science and spirituality are really one and the same, that there is no separation between the two. And when we start to dive deeper into the logistics behind this and the way that we experience reality on a philosophical level, we start to realize that we are much more powerful than we've been led to believe, that there is really essentially nothing to fear. And by remembering these truths, we have this clear roadmap, really, of where to go next. A lot of people in the spiritual communities and even UFO communities and the truthers, they're trying to figure out, well, what's the next step? How do we get there? How do we unite? How do we, um, beat the darkness? But the thing is, what we remember and what we realize when we get to the root of these issues, and the places where the problems are generated, it's love. Unconditional love is the answer. It's the highest vibration there is in our experience. And the more that we align with that energy, that life force, the more that we see it reflected back to us in the great cosmic mirror of the universe. And so that's really all I'm doing. I'm not someone very special. About a year and a half ago, I was a nobody, just following the illusion in my own way in mainstream society. And then I remembered all this stuff, and I've said, well, this is where I feel like I can do what I've always wanted to do, which was to help people and to be there for people, because we're all going through this together, whether or not we're conscious of it. And so when I realized that I could articulate these things in simplistic ways that even, young children can understand, that's when I really started following my heart. So,
Yeah, I like that. And you're a young person, so I like to see young people involved. And we need the young people. We need the next generation coming up. And you're definitely part of that. Because how old are you?
in this body, I'm 27.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm
Mhm.
looking myself to help younger people, anyone under 30, which is why I even do the neurofeedback at my
Mhm.
stores, mainly with the focus on the younger people, because
Mhm.
there's a lot of them are struggling. You're not one of them, thank God.
Mhm.
But a lot of them are struggling with anxiety, depression, and things like that. And you're just your own bright light. You can see it a mile away.
Well,
So
Well, thank you. And I think the biggest issue for those young people, and I just wanted to honor you for what you're doing and helping them, Susan. That's really beautiful. Because I think the biggest issue is the logic, it's the science. And that's what I'm here to bring people. A lot of my brothers and sisters that are around my age, they don't fully comprehend how much of their own power they're using against themselves. And when they start to realize that scientifically that's what they're doing and they just weren't aware of it, then I would like to say that a majority of them, once they have that awareness of what's happening, they're just going to be like, well, why am I doing that? That's silly. That's dumb. I don't need to keep punishing myself. I can actually love myself. And then, wow, everything I've ever wanted comes to me. And once they fully comprehend that in a way that is, in their experience, scientifically qualifiable, I think I used those words correctly. But once they qualify it and they see that they can put their faith into it, then it's a matter of just trial and error, watching it happen, experimenting, really. And that's what I'm doing as a scientist in this reality. I'm probably going to be one of the more infamous scientists. Most of the other scientists in mainstream society are not going to like what I have to say, but I think that once we start to experiment with our own vibration, that's the greatest experiment that we could ever do for all of mankind.
and the
Because
most
if you
important, we need to know how
exactly.
we are, even have a sense of who we are and what we are and what we can do. That's the game changer. It's us individually.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, everything is consciousness is what we're learning from even mainstream science and quantum physics, that the root of everything is not even just energy, it's consciousness. And
that's right.
so since consciousness is the center of everything, then we are that. We are everything. We can tap into the quantum infinite realm, and anything that we've ever imagined is not only possible, it already exists in all these infinite moments because of the concept of simultaneity, of chronoconcurrency. Um, it's the only way that we could still have free will and be able to experience reality in a way that takes the infinite, branches it out into all these different possibilities, and then takes our consciousness and zooms in on one of those infinite moments, one of those infinite possibilities. So that's the only way that we could exist. And once we start to realize that, it's really simple. It's just choosing unconditional love over fear at every single moment, first towards ourselves and then towards everyone else. And all the doors just open up, Susan, and we just have to walk through them. Or we don't have to, we get to.
Right.
It's a
Come on. It's
beautiful.
a choice. It's a conscious choice. So tell everyone where you are right now, 'cause I know where you are.
Right now, I am back in Mount Shasta, California. It is a beautiful vortex that I thought I got myself out of already this year. I ended up just, talking with my partner, and it came up, and then this new opportunity opened up here for us, and we're both originally living in Sedona, so here we are back again to the Mount Shasta portal, and just anchoring in the equinox energies. We felt it was very synchronistic to be here at this time. And there's so much. I mean, if it's we're going into autumn, but on the other side of the planet, it's spring, and so we're still feeling that spring energy. Some of the autumn energy is getting rid of the old, letting the new to come in, and that's where the spring energy is coming in. And I'm so excited for this upcoming month and Contact 2022. So many conferences and events happening this upcoming month. It's really exciting.
Yeah, well, like I've told a few people, they're like, hey, there's such and such conference going on the same weekend. I'm like, that's because there's 2 months out of the year that are the coup de grace for conferences and all kinds of things. One is October, one is May. So
Mm,
better believe there's going to be stuff going on all over. So it's kind of like pick
mhm.
and choose. Where do you want to go? But you're going back to Sedona to live, right? Or are you thinking
Yep.
about changing where you're going to go? What do you
Oh, no, no, no. I actually love Mount Shasta so much. If it was up to my ego, I'd probably live here full time. But when it comes to what I'm here to do and manifest in this reality and this experience, it would be silly for me to not be in Sedona because of how big it is, how much interconnectivity there is in the spiritual community, how fast things manifest there in that portal, that vortex that kind of magnifies things. And yeah, so it's just bringing us back to soul family really is the primary thing that's happening. And we're excited to get back to Sedona. We'll be back there sometime next week, and we'll be preparing for all these upcoming conferences. We have a lot of what are those called? It escapes me. When a bunch of people come out for a few days,
A retreat?
retreat.
Yay!
Yeah. Sometimes, so I say that I have a lot of words in my vocabulary. So it's like this bowl, and there's so many words that they're like over the top of the bowl, and sometimes they'll slosh
Okay,
out.
so you will be speaking. I'm not sure yet if I've got you in at Friday or Sunday. I got to
Mhm.
go over the schedule this weekend. I've got to tighten everything up. Plus, I've got a lot of content that I've got to put up on the website. But so people can come and see you there, and you're going to have your book and do book signings. I'm hoping, right? Are you going to bring a bunch of books?
Yes. Yeah, I'll bring some books. I'll sign every book that I sell that day. And it's going to be a really fun event. We're going to talk about the science of reality and how it works and what the next steps are for the ascension. I feel like that's a big thing that people are talking about, people are interested in. The biggest thing I've noticed within the collective is that we're all ready. We're ready for something. We're ready for a shift. We're ready for a change. But the thing is, we aren't waiting for a shift. We are the shift.
That's right.
We need to be willing to be ourselves and in our authenticity to fully embody the truth that we're here to share with the world. And that is the next step, really. So, and that in and of itself isn't something that's going to happen for everyone all at once. It's going to happen on the individual level before the collective shift happens, because reality is patterns within patterns within. So if we're
Practice.
living in a world where a bunch of people aren't willing to hold themselves or anybody else accountable, well, what's the collective going to reflect back to us from that? Then there's going to be all these, uh, bodies that claim to govern things that are going to uh, misuse their power, and they're not going to be held accountable because we're not even doing that within our own reality. So
Right.
that is the next step. And I'm so excited because as we continue in this grand experiment and raise our vibration and choose love over fear at every opportunity, we start to see it reflect back to us. Then our faith rises. Once we have a greater faith, then we start to trust that love more. The more we trust the love, the more faith we have, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So we really can't lose. The game is rigged in our favor, and I'm just
Game
so
is rigged
excited
in
to
our
share.
favor.
Yeah.
And Einstein, as it's attributed to him, that he said the most important question we can ask is the universe a friendly place or not? And
Mm.
that sums up pretty much what you're saying. Like, is it rigged in our favor? And I would
Mhm.
say in a 51% way, yes, it's rigged in our favor.
Mhm.
So not that we can't blow it, but it's we've got we have the grace that it's rigged in our favor.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Well, thanks for taking the time because I know you're busy because you're traveling and all
mhm.
that. And again, well, we're really looking forward to your talk and bring lots of books. And you represent the new generation of people. And this is really significant
Mhm.
because we have some extraordinary young people on the planet right now. And not all of them feel like they have a voice or that they can speak up yet, but it's just a
Mhm.
short amount of time before they do. But you are one of them and you're a quality human being. And I appreciate that, Isaac. So thanks for jumping
Thank you.
on. And I will see you in just a few weeks.
Absolutely. And I just want to say thank you, Susan, for this opportunity. I'm so excited for Contact 2022, and I'm a reflection of you. You are a beautiful, powerful, inspiring being, and I'm so thankful to know you in this experience.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see you soon. Okay, thanks.